Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Why should we aim for a pure mind? A pure mind is cheerful, peaceful, alert, strong, and focused. It can achieve anything and everything. It is achieved through serving others with the right attitude and following values in life. Most people have respect for values like honesty but are unable to live them. A question arises, why should I be honest? If the purpose of honesty in business is to build a good reputation and attract customers, then it will last till the business has gained a reputation, after which the temptation for dishonesty will arise again. However, when you realize that honesty makes me happy and dishonesty brings stress and sorrow, we will be honest, not just for the immediate benefit, but for the more lasting goal to purify our mind and prepare it for still higher goals. Liberation, the ultimate goal of life. In the student life, our goal is to study and empower ourselves. The monk, sannyasi, is supposed to have only a spiritual goal, seek God or liberation. The householder can have material goals for fulfilling material needs and also aim to serve others. These goals prepare you with a pure mind to achieve the highest spiritual goal of liberation. What is liberation? It is freedom from all bondages. It includes freedom from slavery to all objects, senses, and the mind. Or not, we feel we can give up drinking tea at any time we want to, and so it is not a binding habit. But can we really? This we can test by actually giving up. Test your attachment of watching TV by switching off and walking away from the TV in the middle of your favorite TV serial. How much you miss it, crave for it, depend on it, or are possessive of it shows how much you are attached to the object, being, or situation. If you can painlessly give up, not by substituting it with another object, then you are a master of it, not you are beholden to it. And if not, you are beholden to it, then you don't own it, it owns you. So be a householder, but do not hold on to the house. Do not become enslaved by pleasures. The highest understanding of liberation is to give up false identification with the body, senses, and mind and realize the truth. To know that I am not the perishable body, but eternal and infinite existence. This is also called God realization or self knowledge. Married life should prepare you to reach this highest goal of human life. Sometimes people ask what Swamis would know about married life. Someone jokingly answered that the very fact that they did not marry shows that they know. Yes, there are lots of challenges. You will have to overcome a lot of conflicts, challenges, and problems that come in married life. One piece of advice may help. Make it a rule to resolve each day's quarrel or differences before you sleep. At least agree to disagree and sleep on a positive note. Also, do not keep awake all night attempting to resolve. Marriage is not just a social obligation, a familial duty, a mutual need, or a legal agreement, and definitely not a commercial deal. It is a sacred relationship, a coming together of two souls and two families. Do not allow any challenges and obstacles to break it and work hard to make it a success. Invoke God's grace and Guru's blessings for spiritual strength. Success is guaranteed with grace and right effort. God bless you all. Harmony in relationships. Man is a social being and cannot live in isolation. Even those renunciates who live in a cave have to mingle with others to procure food. It is natural to form relationships. They are like a mirror and show us what we are. Staying in a cave, I may claim to have conquered anger. This will be tested only when I am with someone and when I am provoked by that person. Someone asks me what my name is. I may say Jitakrodhananda, one who has conquered anger. But I don't believe so. What proof do you have? He asked. I shout back and say, how dare you ask? How dare you question me? Interaction with others tests our relationships and reveals to us what we are. Some people have difficulties and some people are difficult. Interestingly, each one thinks that the other is very difficult to live with or deal with. Why are relationships difficult to manage? Why do they turn so sour, become or cause suffering and tension? Why are many people in the family just tolerating each other, waiting to quit or breaking up? Here are a few tips which will help us to live in harmony with others. 1. If the basis of any relationship is worldly, then it is binding. But if it is spiritual, then it is liberating. कस्यचिदपि सम्बन्धस्य आधारो यदि लौकिको तर्हि लौकिकास्तर्हि सस्सबन्धनकारकः आध्यात्मिकस्तु मुक्तिदायको भवति. जीवन सूत्राणि 5.5. If a boy marries a girl for her riches and her riches dwindle, the relationship ends. If he marries her for her beauty and the beauty fades away, then he too turns away. If she marries him for his power and fame and he loses them, she may lose her respect for him. Love others for what they are and not just for what they have. Love others not because of their material possessions, but in spite of them. Material things come and go. If you love others for their virtues or in spite of what they are, the love will be firm. Always ask, what is the basis of my relationship? Even with material things, if you consider money only as a means to purchase power, fame, and pleasures, then it will cause pride, attachment, and stress. Pride, attachment, and stress. When you think it to be God given, you will remain humble. That money will not remain forever. Today it is in my pocket, tomorrow it will be in another's. The Ishavasya Upanishad says, do not hoard wealth. To whom does it belong anyway? It is meant for sharing and helping others. With this attitude, money will become a blessing for yourself and others and not cause conflicts and sorrows. Sri Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda says, what you have is your gift to him. This attitude will bring you joy. When the things goes, when the thing goes, you will think that the Lord decided you do not need it anymore. When the thing remains, you will share it with others like Prasad, his gift. Our relationship with God also breaks down when it is based on worldly desires alone. We feel that He should fulfill all our worldly desires, and if He does not, we lose faith and leave Him. Remember always, God is not just your wish fulfiller, but also your well wisher. Like a mother who denies her sick child ice cream, even though he screams for it. God does what is good for you and not just what you think what is good for you. Sometimes He says yes and gives you what is good for you. Sometimes He says no and gives you what is better. Sometimes He says wait and gives you the best. So have faith in His goodness and wisdom, and your relationship with Him will remain steadfast. Plants and animals can live happily without us, but we cannot survive without them. If our attitude is that they are meant for our pleasure, we'll do what we want with them. We will destroy them. When we consider ourselves to be the big brother of creation, we will take care and nourish them, and they in turn will flourish and benefit. A parable in the Bible says that if you build a house on shifting sands, then storms will easily wash it away. But if you build it on a rock, then it stands strong like a lighthouse in the ocean. So let the basis of your relationship with material objects, plants, animals, human beings, gurus on ideals and values. Then it will remain well rooted and long lasting. 2. One should look upon people as one's own self, but do not consider them to be like oneself. And one should not impose one's ideas of joy, sorrow, etc. on others, and should give them freedom. आत्मवल्लोकान् पश्येन् न तु तथा भावयेत् सुखदुःखादि विषयकस्वकल्पनाम् अन्यस्मिन् नारोपयेत् तेभ्य तेभ्य स्वातन्त्र्यं प्रयच्छेत् जीवनसूत्राणि 5.678. Do unto others as you would have others do unto you is the basis of harmonious relationships. I love myself and want all to love me unconditionally, so do others. I like my space and freedom, and so do others. I have my ideas and what gives joys and sorrows, and others do so all too. If we think that everyone thinks like us and that they should think like us, then there will be a friction and happiness. Then there will be friction and happiness. And find out what they want, how they think. A boy came home and happily declared, Daddy, I helped an old lady cross the road today. The father said, she must have been happy. No, said the boy, she got very mad because she did not want to cross. Doing good work is good, but not just according to your own ideas. likes or dislikes. Respect others' needs and respect others' needs and ideas as well. The problem is more acute in close relationships, like between husband and wife, as there is maximum expectation and possessiveness. The husband and wife love each other and even try to make each other happy, but strangely, they often do not try to find out what the other wants. Men and women think differently and also express their love differently. When he expresses love in his own way, she is not happy and thinks he does not love her. So look upon everyone as your own self, but also know that each individual is unique and you respect their freedom to think differently and try to understand them. People should be respected and trusted, not suspected. जन जन आदरणीय विश्वसनीय जीवन सूत्राणी 5.1 Respect and trust people you are living with. In the beginning, your relation should be based on mutual trust and not suspicion. Then alone will true love develop in due course. Some respect everyone. If someone invites you for dinner, you start to doubt. Some suspect everyone. If someone invites you for dinner, you start to doubt. No free lunch, so they must want something from me. If the other person just smiles, you think why he is smiling, and if he does not smile, then again you are suspicious. This doubting nature pollutes the relationship. Such a person is always disturbed and agitated. A doubting person destroys himself, says the Gita. Samshayatma vinashyate. Start the relationship on trust. Just because one person has bettered you, that does not mean all will do so. Also, a person who has cheated once may regret that he has done what he has done and he could have changed for the better. Do not always be suspicious. Trust others even if it is for your own peace of mind. Our peace of mind is more precious. Do not squander it away through suspicions. Trust yourself and trust others. One should be strict with one's own faults, but be tender towards others' faults. स्वदोषान् प्रति कठोरो अन्येषां प्रति तो कोमलो भवेत्. जीवन सूत्राणि 5.2 You too have many faults. You want others to accept you as you are, but you do not accept the faults of others. If you are jealous, then you think that being jealous is not so bad, but being angry like the other person is terrible. We usually justify and are tender towards our own faults and are strict, unforgiving, and condemning towards the faults of others. However, we should be just the opposite if we are to have harmonious relationships. Be tender towards others' faults and strict towards your own faults. Mahatma Gandhi said that because you also are imperfect, forgive others. The wise men say that because you are perfect, forgive the faults of others. Some people think they are perfect and expect perfection from others. A perfectionist is never liked by others. He is defined as the one who takes a lot of pain and distributes it to others. Be understanding of the limitations and difficulties of others. Be compassionate and kind to them. I visited a house where I saw a poster that said, "Don't try to change me, accept me as I am." However, if we are not strict towards our own faults, we will never change for the better, and in time we will even glorify our fault, saying, "So what if I get angry? It gets the work done." Our Bhushana fault should not be considered as our Bhushana glory. If there is mutual love and trust, then rules and regulations are not needed. In their absence, also rules are not needed as they do not work. पारस्परिकस्नेह विश्वासे वर्तमाने विधिनियमा अनावश्यकाः अविद्यमाने अपि अनावश्यकाः यतो निष्फलाः. जीवनसूत्राणि 5.3 and 4. When there is love and trust between a couple, there is no need to write down job profiles, duty lists, working hours, specific working conditions, privileges, bonuses, and so on. Parents do not tell their children to fall sick only before 10 p.m. because after that their duty time is over. But when relationships are strained and divorce proceedings are on, rules are made about visiting hours and sharing of property. But these rules do not really make things easier or relationships better or anyone happier. In an organization which respects its staff, many people are happy to work day and night. When there is a negative feeling, however, many bonuses are given. There is dissatisfaction and disturbance, and relationships are strained and productivity is affected. So, for harmony in relationships, its basis must be spiritual. If the relationship has a material or superficial foundation, it will crumble. But when relationships are based on a firm foundation of virtues, they are strong, lasting, and a source of joy. Joy of parenting. Amongst the various joys of married life, parenting, especially when the child is young, is the most joy giving. However, it can also become quite challenging. Someone was once speaking on stress free parenting. He said, "Parenting is always stress free, it brings stress free of charge." A man once joked that before marriage he had 6 theories on how to raise children. Now he has 6 children and no theories. Here are a few verses composed by me on parenting which could help you making parenting truly joyful. जयति तेऽधिकं बालजन्मनां हर्षपूरितं प्रभुकृपाफलं स्पष्टगोचरम् अवसरेषु हे देविनन्दनम्. The joy at the birth of your child has further beautified your beautiful home. It is the clear manifestation of God's grace. Congratulations to you on this auspicious occasion. A child's birth fills the house with joy. There is great joy and expectation even before its birth. Nowadays, parents want to see the child even when it is in the womb. Once the child is born, every expression, moment, and mood is watched, talked about, and photographed. He opened his eyes, he looked at me, and he smiled. What else will the baby do? The child's birth should be considered not just as the biological process or as attaining parenthood. We should see it as the grace of God manifesting in the form of the birth of the child. The great writer and Nobel laureate Ravi shows God's faith in mankind. Each child that is born can make a difference, can transform himself and his sphere of world. So look upon your child as a direct and clear manifestation of God's grace and understand that your child could become great. He has a vital role to play and you will be instrumental in enabling and empowering him or her to fulfill that role. He or she can become a great scientist, philosopher, artist, lawyer, politician, or just a good human being and influence the lives of many. जयतु ते शिशुर्जीवने सदा मधुरभावनो हर्षदायकः जगति प्राप्नुयात् स्थानगौरवं पदमनुत्तमं मुक्तबन्धनः. May your child be ever successful in life, sweet-natured and giver of joy to all. May your child attain an honorable position in the world and find beatitude free from all bondages. Every parent wants their child to be happy, cheerful, sweet-natured, well-behaved and brilliant. Parents rejoice in the smallest achievements of their children and take great pride in their success. However, we cannot guarantee that the child will be as they want him to be, but at least they empower him and create the right ambience to enable it to happen. It is sad to see young people the world over violence and indulgence, violence and crime. They waste their lives and destroy themselves. Some also commit suicide. Such children only bring sorrow to all, especially their parents. Why do they go astray? Herein we understand the importance of right upbringing, Bala Samvardhanam. That is the duty and responsibility of but a joyful duty which will need joy and deep satisfaction. Our children are our future and we must effort in their upbringing. Some parents say that their life is very hectic and that they find no time for their children. Now that you have brought the children into this world, whose responsibility is his or her upbringing? Surely it cannot be totally dumped on the grandparents, maids, children centers, foster homes, schools, or bal vihars. What love or commitment will a maid have in the upbringing of your child? So, how should you raise your children? A happy manager will set the stage. A happy marriage will set the stage for the right upbringing of the child. The family is the foundation of the society and nation. A family in which there is mutual love and respect, sharing and caring, joy and laughter, learning and growing. will be the right ambience for the child's growth. Also, children have never been good at listening to their parents, but they never fail to imitate them. It is therefore important for you to mind your tongue and watch your step in front of your children. Be the role model for your child. Exemplify what you want them to be. Many youngsters go astray because they have no inspiring good role models or goals to no find no meaningful purpose in life. They are quite often confused and misunderstand what constitutes a happy and successful life. You should guide your children in setting right, immediate, and long term goals which help him achieve the ultimate goal of life, freedom from all bondage. The following verses describe 8 aspects of parenting. लालनं पालनं शिक्षा पोषणं कर्मकौशलम् अर्पणं चैव संस्कार पूर्णं जीवनदर्शनम्. Cuddling, protecting, educating, nourishing, inculcating efficiency, teaching dedication, imparting values, and a holistic vision of life. Angannyatani sarvani बालसंवर्धनस्य वै पुष्यतां पितरौ बालान् मत्वा देवस्य पूजनम्. All these constitute parenting. Parents should raise their children considering it as worship of God. लालनं प्रेमवर्षा हि रक्षाभावस्तु पालनं शिक्षणं जीविकार्थं च पोषणं बलवर्धनम्. Cuddling children is to shower love on them. Protecting them is to give them a feeling of security. Educating them is to equip them with a means of earning their livelihood. And nourishing them is to give them overall empowerment. कौशलं सर्वकार्येषु नारायणसमर्पणं संस्कारसद्गुणाधारम्. Teaching them that efficiency is all round dexterity. Dedication is to offer oneself to God. Sanskaras are a strong value system. A holistic vision is a spiritual vision of life. Shower them with love. Lalanam Premavarsha. The literal meaning of Lalanam is to cuddle. Shower your child with love and affection. It is important that they feel loved and cared for. Express your love through your words and acts. Children that glow with parental love are secure and they in turn will love others. If they do not feel loved, they carry that insecurity all through their life. 2. Develop a sense of security. Raksha Bhavastu Palanam. The child should feel protected by his parents. This will make him confident and fearless in facing life situations later on. This sense of security makes them open up to their parents and gives them the courage to confess even their follies to them. They then know that you will never leave them, come what may. A child was seen playing fearlessly when a ship was being violently rocked by the storm, and there was panic everywhere. When asked why she was not scared, she said, "Why should I be scared? My mother is here with me." Loving and protection which creates a sense of being loved and feeling of security, are especially important in the early stages of a child's life. It will create a close bond between you and them what to and then what to tell them will not fall on deaf ears. Educate for earning their livelihood. Shikshanam Jivikartham. Provide your child with a holistic education which will make him or her a well integrated and well rounded personality. Besides bringing literacy, education inculcates discipline, empowers him with or her with knowledge and skill, develops their inherent talents and potential and enables them to earn their livelihood and become economically independent. Parents that do not educate their child are considered enemies because the child that is uneducated and uncultured never shines in the assembly of learned people and becomes a laughing stock. माता शत्रु पिता वैरी येन बाला न पाठिता न शोभते सभा मध्ये हंस मध्ये बको यथा. Nourish through empowerment. Poshanam Balavardhanam. Every child has an inherent talent and natural aptitude. The parents must help the child to discover this and cultivate it. They must nourish, encourage, and empower the child so that it reaches his full potential. Besides physical nourishment, take tender care of his emotional, intellectual, and spiritual growth. Even if your child is challenged or with lesser potential, nourish him well. You will be surprised at the wonders possible with the right encouragement and empowerment. Little realizing that the crowd was warning, a deaf child thought they were shouting words of encouragement and won a race. Many have not risen in life because there was no one to make them feel they could do it. Dexterity in action. Kaushalam Sarvakaryeshu. Teach your children to be efficient in all they do. Encourage them to be neat in their work, prompt in their response, organized and knowledgeable. They need to also know all practical skills of life so that they can cope with various aspects of life. Your child may also have to learn how to cook even if he has wonderful computer skills. Dedication of actions to an altar. Arpanam Narayana Samarpanam. An altar in life alters your life. It is difficult to be continuously inspired, act with purpose, and accept the results of actions gracefully and cheerfully without having an altar of dedication. The higher the altar of dedication, the greater is the transformation. All great men were ordinary people till they found an altar of dedication. An ordinary barrister became the great Mahatma Gandhi when he dedicated his life for the freedom of his country and the highest truth. Sri Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda would have remained only a good journalist, but he joined the freedom struggle of India and later dedicated his life for the cultural and spiritual renaissance of the nation and transformed the lives of millions the world over. Inculcate this attitude of dedication in your children so that they use their God given gifts in the service of the Lord. for a noble cause or in any noble field of action, inculcating noble value, virtues. Samskara Sadgunadhanam. Valuables are valuables, but values are invaluable. Value is what you respect, virtue is what you live. Inculcate good values and encourage your children to live them uncompromisingly till they become a habit and virtue. In life, if you do not stand for something, you fall for everything. Let your children know that the important things in life are not things. It is values like honesty, compassion, forgiveness, and non injury that sustain relationship, families, and the society and the world. Relationships, families, the society, and the world. Lay a firm foundation of goodness in your child, on which the superstructure of greatness can stand tall and unshaken by the temptations and trials of life. Purnamaध्यात्मदर्शनम. Teach your children to look upon life as a whole and live a holistic life. A lopsided, narrow, or partial view of life will lead to sorrow. A spiritual vision is holistic. You can view parenting also in the light of spiritual vision. Khalil Gibran says, children come through you but do not belong to you. They are God given, and you are given this special gift by God. Child realize that he or she is potentially divine, a part of the Lord, God's special creation, born to fulfill his or her special role and attain perfection. A narrow vision is divisive, a broad vision is expansive, and a divine vision is all inclusive. Let your child grow up with a holistic and all inclusive vision. Parenting, which includes the above, will surely become deeply satisfying and joy giving. Question and answers on marriage, relationships, and parenting. Always go to the root of a problem. Symptomic treatment only gives temporary relief, but when the cause is removed, the ailment is cured. You may seek advice for various challenges and situations that you face, but if you understand the very principle of spirituality and married life, then you will know that what to do in all such challenges and situations. However, many a time people seek advice and wish to hear only what suits them and do not follow if it is against their own preconceived ideas. Swami Jnanananda, a monk from Kerala, would ask, will you follow my advice even if it is so? Seek advice only from those who respect and trust, who from those you respect and trust, and then follow it no matter how difficult it is to do so. Question: how do you maintain a close relationship with your spouse once you have children? Answer: in fact, the birth of the child itself is reason enough to bring you closer. Now you have a common locus of strong love, a binding factor called our child. The love and respect for the mother of my child or father of my child is natural and can hold the couple together even in times of strained relationships. The spouse is instrumental in giving you your child, who is God's gift, to both to nurture and nourish together. Sharing your common responsibility should bring you closer. Question: when are my responsibilities on as a parent complete and fulfilled towards my children? The role of a parenting is lifelong. However, the nature of your responsibility changes in time. When your children are in school, you drive them, but once they are 18, they drive themselves. And later in your old age, they may drive you around. Your responsibility is to make them independent. You should not get psychologically dependent on them, nor they on you. Even though sometimes circumstances may make you physically or economically independent. Once they have become independent, then your role is only of an advisor, that too when they ask you. Question: when both parents are working and the children are put in daycare, how does this impact the child's development? Answer: remember, your child needs your presence and not your presence. He needs your care, not daycare. He needs to feel loved and secure, especially when he is young. The time you lose, you will never get to cuddle and watch him grow again. As a teenager, he will not even allow you to touch him. Question: how can working parents achieve a balance of professional life with their parenting duties? You have brought your child in this world, so you have to give him or her time also. This is more important in his or her infancy and early childhood. Money and career are important, as is your child and family life. One spouse working or working part time or working from home and so on are options available. So think of all available options. Prioritize your goals and choose what is best for your child and his welfare. Question: how can we teach our children about dedication? Answer: teach them through your own example. That is the best. Also, there are simple activities that they can be encouraged to do. For example, let them participate in sponsored walkathons or marathons, wherein the money they get is given to a noble cause. In Philippines, in our Chennai mission, they have a children's club called SSS, Sacrifice, Save, Serve. The parent saves the money the child has earned by sacrificing his desire for an extra toy, which is used to serve a poor child. All this will instill a spirit of dedication and service. Question: what do we do with a hyperactive child? How do we teach him dedication? Answer: don't ask him to meditate. His energy must be directed towards positive and productive activities. Otherwise, he will become destructive. Since he already has a lot of energy and is active, all we need to do is motivate him to use it for a good cause he feels touched by. A child good at art painted hundreds of cards, which he sold for the education of his poor friend. Touched by the scenes of destruction, after the Gujarat earthquake. Bilal, who was then only four and lived in Canada, sold oranges at street corners to make money for the victims of the earthquake. He has now gained international fame and jet sets around the world collecting funds for poor children the world over. Question: how do we ensure that children growing up in the West grow up with Eastern Indian values and culture? Answer: practice them in your home. Respect your parents. Be regular in your spiritual practices. Be vegetarian and so on. Drop the idea that East is always better than the West and old is always better than the new. Everything stands on its own merit. Also teach them what is good in both cultures and what is common to all cultures, and to follow universal values like honesty. Send them to the Chinmay Mission Bal Vihar classes. That is what we teach in these weekly classes for children. Question: what can we do in the womb? The child starts learning from the womb. Your thoughts, words, and actions affect him or her even in the womb. Live a disciplined and spiritual life. The mother should be kept cheerful and happy. That is the father's job. Strong negative emotions, unhealthy diet, and entertainment will affect the child adversely. Question: how do we find time for spirituality in our busy householder's life? Answer: this question arises because we consider spirituality as a particular action. Spirituality is not doing something different or special. It is in doing everything in a special way with a special attitude. For that, you do not need separate time. You need time for doing yoga or for singing, but you do not need special time for being honest, good, friendly, or helpful. You can be these whilst doing everything. So never say that I have no time for spirituality. As long as you make a division between spiritual life and householder's life, there will be a conflict. The spiritual life must pervade your householder life, professional, personal, or social. Serve the world as worship of God. Make your work your worship. As already mentioned, parenting can also be considered as an opportunity given by God to nurture and nourish His special gift to us. Also, devote some time each day for spiritual practices. You may not have much time, but 15 minutes to half an hour each day can be devoted to meditation, prayer, worship, or study of the scriptures. This will tune and fine tune your mind and empower you with the right attitude and the positive energy to work the whole day. 75% time of a householder goes in taking care of family and work. When he or she retires, they can devote 75% of their time to spiritual practices, and a sannyasin or monk can devote his whole life for meditation and seeking God realization. Spiritual practices purify your mind and prepare it for higher achievements. Question: how can I please other people like my husband? Sometimes I feel I am not doing the right thing, but I do it because I want to please someone or because of external pressure. What should I do? Answer. This reminds me of a joke. A lady asked her friend, is it difficult to please your husband? She replied, I don't know. I have ever tried. First of all, remembering that it is difficult to please another person. A lady who was told that the way to a man's heart is through his stomach spent most of her time cooking. This irritated her husband to the limit and he complained, she does nothing except cook all day. Secondly, try to do what pleases the other person, not what you think should please them. Get to know the person's likes and dislikes and do not rub them the wrong way. A wife uninterested in football is not likely to be pleased by the gift of tickets to a Premier League football match, however costly they may be. Thirdly, instead of doing what will please yourself or the other person, do what is right and do what is good to do. In trying to gratify oneself or another, we might land up doing the immoral. What is right may not please the other person, but it is best for all in the long run. A child may be pleased by bunking school or underage driving, but it would be best not to allow him his wrong ways. Sometimes inner compulsions and or outer pressure may force us to do wrong. If you give in to these pressures, you will have to bear the consequences. At least become aware, minimize the compromises, do not make them into a habit, and stick to your decisions as far as possible. Question. I believe in God, pray for a long time every day, and read the Guru Charitra, but I do not do any chanting or worship. Is that alright? Answer. Any soap can be used to wash the body. Similarly, the spiritual practices of the mind is fine. Do not do the spiritual practices mechanically. What is important is to feel the presence of God all the time. A teacher gave his two disciples a fruit each and asked them to eat it in a place where none would see them. The one returned soon, but another came hours later with the fruit in hand, saying, every place I went, there was someone, plant, animal, or human hand. There were no one else. There where no one else was present. I realized that I am watching myself, and there is also God. Also, our belief should be strong. If we truly believe in God, there should be no worry in our life. If we know that God is omniscient, omnipotent, and compassionate, will He not take care of us, feel His presence, and have faith? Lengthy or superficially done rituals without deeds will not be very effective. Question. I am in search of a guru who can guide me to attain self-realization. How do I search, or will it happen on its own? Answer. A guru is required if you have true desire for knowledge. How intense is your desire? If your desire, if your desire is intense, you will see that you keep on getting right guidance and opportunities to learn. Make you focus your mind on increasing the demand. The supply shall happen. Question. You have said that our mutual love should grow each day. How do we do that? Answer. Do not let the romance die after marriage. Find new ways to please each other. Discover new aspects of your spouse and form a deeper emotional, intellectual, and spiritual relationship. Focus your attention on the positive aspects of the other person and do not let little negative irritants erode your love. Instead of thinking he presses the toothpaste from the middle, think he is always there when I need him, or she takes such good care of the children. When you both focus on giving, then the love grows. When you focus on getting, love erodes. Love the person in spite of his or her weakness. Then even there love. A wife knowing that the husband would forget her birthday brought herself a costly present and told him lovingly, now all you need to do is pay the bill. Question. In marriage, what is more important? Love, respect, or trust? Answer. Trust is the most important. Love and respect flourish when there is strong faith and falter when doubt and suspicion creeps in. Question. If true freedom is to be able to give up all, how can we carry on with our family responsibilities? Answer. True freedom is to be detached from within, not just give up outside things and walk out of responsibilities and duties. Of course, if the need arises, we should also be able to give up and walk away. Question. We are both Hindus but belong to different religious sects, sampradayas. What should a couple do, especially how should they bring up their children in these circumstances? Answer. It is interesting that when the boy or girl fall in love, these differences do not seem to matter. After marriage, these differences become suddenly very important. Life is all about adjusting, especially married life. Both must learn to live and let live, understand and respect each other's beliefs, discover the common essence of dharma, and give freedom to the other to follow their ways of practice. Children too will pick up the essence of both practices when the common principles are emphasized. Sometimes, however, the one with a weaker belief yields to the one with a stronger belief. A wife was seen wearing a t-shirt which read one way. The husband's t-shirt read your way. Someone observed that a family lived very peacefully. When questioned how they did so, he said she decides all home affairs, how to raise the children, where to go on vacation, what school the children will go to whom they will pray, and so on. I deal with international affairs, Wimbledon finals, the Palestinian problem, global warming, and so on. We have no common grounds to conflict. Question. How do we balance our duties to serve the society with our duties to raise our children? Answer. It is not necessary that all your work and talent be used only in money making. Once you understand that you will have more time for your children, once you understand that you will have more time for your children and the society, spend quality time with your children at home, involve them also wherever possible in service to society, and you use your time, money, and talent in contributing to making the world a better place. A lady I know sells her paintings and contributes the amount to the Chinmay mission. Question: what is our responsibility towards our parents in India as we stay far away from them? Answer: if you cannot go back to take care of them, call them here. If that is not agreeable to them, arrange other siblings or relations to take care for them. Otherwise, at least take care of their comforts and economic needs and visit them as often as possible. Many parents prefer not to uproot themselves from India in old age. Many wish to lead a peaceful retired life in their native place and pursue their spiritual goals. It is the duty of the children to love, respect, help, and care for them, whether from far or near, and not burden them with the task of raising their own grandchildren. Question: after a conflict or making a mistake, it is often hard to be gracious or ask for forgiveness. How can we become more gracious and learn to apologize? Answer: it is our ego that does not allow us to be gracious or apologize for our mistakes. I have kept this management principle in mind whilst dealing with mission matters and also relationships, and it has helped me. It is called the KISS principle. Keep it simple and straight. Life is complicated enough without you adding your ego to it. Remember, you are not omniscient. If you don't know, admit it. If you need help, ask for it. If you commit a mistake, apologize. Do not hesitate or delay. When I was a student, to speak on a topic. Since we were so close, we all knew each other's faults. One student indirectly spoke about my faults in his talk. Everyone knew whom he was referring to. I got angry and decided to expose his faults when my turn came. Then I realized that what he said had some truth in it, and so I went and touched his feet and thanked him for pointing out my faults. He was surprised and became apologetic, and we became best of friends. To react and behave spiritual. Whenever I have said something in reaction, I call the other person and apologize, and our relations are maintained and many times strengthened. Be genuine in your apology. Also, be forgiving of others' faults and forgive them when they apologize. The husband apologized for his mistake. The wife kept reminding him about it, saying, I have forgiven you but not forgotten, and I do not want you to forget that I have. How can one be compassionate towards oneself? Answer: be like Lord Shiva, who has three eyes. The two eyes of justice and compassion, and the third eye is discrimination or knowledge. Judgmental or condemning towards your own faults. Do not look down on yourself or curse yourself. At the same time, do not be indulgent and soft about your faults. Do not keep justifying or finding excuses. We must use discrimination and wisdom to understand when to be firm and when and how much to be compassionate towards others, oneself. This will come by increasing one's spiritual strength by regular study of scriptures, prayer, and meditation. The prayer of serenity is most beautiful. God, give me the courage to change what I can, serenity to accept what I cannot, and the wisdom to understand the difference. Be wise and compassionate. Question: what is your advice to a young couple that wants to lead a life of celibacy and devote their life to spiritual practices? There is pressure from the parents to have children, and they say that spirituality is for old age. Will we be doing something wrong? Answer: if you are both very firm and convinced, do not yield to any pressure. If you are very sure that you wish to lead a spiritual life, do so completely. For those it is best to lead a normal householder's life and have children, they should then look their children as a gift of God and lead a spiritual life. Spirituality is not just for old age or for sannyasins or monks. You can pursue a spiritual life remaining in the midst of worldly activity. With a spiritual vision, carry on your family life. Question: why is there so much possessiveness in a husband-wife relationship? Answer: this is true. You are more willing to share your other possessions but never your spouse. You do not like it when anyone, especially any man or woman, is possessive of their spouse. When each is confident of the other's total love and commitment towards the other, the possessiveness does not become obsessive or problematic and the relationship is healthy. The basis of relationship should be spiritual and not just physical, emotional, or material. Question: we are told that we should realize the truth. What is the truth and how can we realize it? Answer: God or truth is your own true nature, your inner self. Your entire life should be geared towards this realization. Prepare your mind through selfless and unconditional performance of your duties, dedicating all your actions towards a noble goal. Regular worship, prayer, study, and meditation. This will lead you to deeper reflection and inquiry into the nature of the truth, and finally the realization of your infinite self. Question: I worry about the eventual mortality of my old parents, even though I know it is inevitable. How can I overcome my worry? Answer: remember, we too are mortal and may pass away any day, not just our parents. Do your best to make your parents happy and comfortable now. Spend your time in serving and caring for them. When you do your best for them now, you can leave the rest worry in God's care. Question: how can we make our children spiritual minded and when should we start? Answer: first of all, you become spiritual minded. Children will imbibe your values and follow your actions. A lady took her young son to a saint, complaining that he ate too many sweets and that it was harmful to him. The saint asked them to return after a month. After a month, when they met him, he said, "Dear child, do not eat so many sweets. It will harm you." The boy instantly promised that he would stop eating sweets. The mother asked the saint why the same advice was not given a month back. The saint said, I too was eating too many sweets a month back and so had no moral right to advise the child. He had given to do so. Then alone his words had the power to change the child. You become spiritual and the children shall learn from your attitude and behavior. May God's grace and Poojya Gurudev's blessings be on all. Om Tat Sat. Om Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Om Shri Sadguru